I didn't get to look into as many WikiLeaks as possible yesterday because I was on the road. On Wednesday, I covered a Donald Trump rally in Kinston, North Carolina. The video is up on TYT Politics. Again, youtube.com/TYT Politics, where a Trump supporter told me Jesus wants Trump and doesn't believe in female leaders. So that video is up, and I thought it was quite interesting slash funny. Another video is now up from my reporting at Hillary Clinton's rally yesterday with Michelle Obama, where I interviewed many people, but one video is with a mother who's a homosexual mother, who I pretty much asked, well, why do you trust Hillary Clinton that she's for LGBT rights, since, she kind of evolved on the issue 5 minutes before the Supreme Court ruled in favor of marriage equality. So that interview was up. But let me go through the WikiLeaks that I find very interesting. Some of them are from yesterday's batch, which was Podesta emails 20, and some of them are from today's Podesta emails 21. So in an email exchange in 2014, Robbie Mook, who was not officially Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, because officially she didn't have a campaign, but Robbie Mook was emailing Cheryl Mills, who's worked for Hillary Clinton's State Department. So he essentially is emailing Cheryl Mills, John Podesta, Uma Abedin. He says, and Hillary Clinton herself, Madam Secretary, I had a good conversation with Simus today. Simus is David Simus. He is an aide to President Obama. Few things to report. Number one, he said Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Amy are supportive of bringing women in to fill a general election planning / preparation role. We agreed that Jen O'Malley Dillon would be a very strong candidate. She has the experience / relationships / gravitas to navigate the building. It's also completely credible for the White House to say that she's their pick. We agreed she should be our first choice for now unless we think of someone better. So this is 2014. You have Robbie Mook, has essentially already been chosen as Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, even though this is December 2014, about 3 months before Hillary Clinton announces. The campaign is already working behind the closed doors, but this is technically in 2014. Robbie Mook talked to Barack Obama's aide, David Simus. I don't know his proper title, but he's pretty high up. David Simus told him that Debbie and Amy are supportive of bringing someone in to fill a general election planning / preparation role. Why is Hillary Clinton's campaign talking to Barack Obama's administration about the DNC bringing somebody in to fill a general election planning / preparation role? Hillary Clinton's campaign shouldn't be talking to Barack Obama's administration about the election or DNC planning. Which tells me, does this show direct Hillary Clinton's campaign was talking directly to Debbie Wasserman Schultz about bringing in someone from the DNC? No, it doesn't. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But it does show this coordination and revolving door. 3 months before Hillary Clinton announced, her campaign manager is basically getting fed information from the Obama administration about what Debbie Wasserman Schultz is doing at the DNC in preparation for the general election, which tells me the DNC and Debbie Wasserman Schultz are essentially already planning for a Hillary Clinton as a Democratic nominee. So is it a smoking gun? No. But like many of these emails, a lot of them aren't smoking guns, but they just show time after time after time coordination between Barack Obama's administration, Hillary Clinton's campaign, the DNC, against Bernie Sanders. At this point, Bernie wasn't even announced, so I'll give him benefit of the doubt on that. But there should have been no communication between Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama's administration on electoral matters. None. That's not even to count other emails, which I'll get to, which show John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's chairman, meeting with Dennis McDonough, Barack Obama's chief of staff, during the Democratic primary. What was John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, meeting with the chief of staff of the United States about? Where to go golfing? No. They were talking about the campaign. So, and again, the Hillary Clinton supporters, Democratic people, status quo. Oh, they say, breaking news, politics, breaking news. Politicians act like politicians. You guys are part of the problem, and I'll continue to say it. And you could keep trolling. I don't care. This should not be normal in America. This is why Bernie Sanders had a gigantic movement. in fairness to Donald Trump, this is why Donald Trump has a fairly big movement, because people are tired of what you say is just, this is how it is, politics as usual. People are tired of this because politics as usual only helps the powerful and the already wealthy. It doesn't help people like you or me. So when you say, oh, this is just normal that they, politicians act as politicians and this is the sausage making, my guess is you're probably a little bit older than I, and I'm not trying to be ageist, but most of the people who view the world in this way are older individuals. I have not met a lot of younger millennial people who think this kind of stuff is okay, because frankly, this is the first time they are exposed to this kind of sausage making. In fairness, I've met many older senior citizens who are not okay with this and supported Bernie Sanders and now support Jill Stein. So of course, you don't put a blanket over everybody, but it's always amazing to me when people just keep saying nothing to see here, nothing to see here. It's like they're just sheep being herded by their master. I mean, these are not normal things. When the DNC is supposed to be a neutral body, President Obama and his administration, they're not supposed to be putting their thumb on the scale among the Democratic primary. Now, if he wanted to be courageous and come out very early and endorse Hillary Clinton, now that's a different thing, because at least it's open. It's out in the open that he endorses her. But this is before she even announced his administration feeding information to Hillary Clinton's campaign, and all of them working together. So, moving on. You have, so this was kind of funny. Neera Tanden, she's found throughout these emails. She's Hillary Clinton's BFF, president of the Center for American Progress. In an email to John Podesta, she writes, do we actually know who told Hillary she could use a private email? And has that person been drawn and quartered? Like, whole thing is fucking insane. Once more. And has that person been drawn and quartered? Clinton justice. I mean, in fairness, this is Neera Tanden. It's not someone official with the Hillary Clinton campaign. I think she called herself an outside advisor, but I mean, she's all over these emails. I must have at this point reported 50 to 100 of hers. This is how politics works. Yeah, I know. This is what you tell me. So, yeah, she's saying, who told Hillary Clinton to do this, and have they been drawn and quartered? It's rough talk, Neera. Another one. Hillary Clinton's campaign was so scripted that they even had to write her a script on how to thank people from Nevada for her victory. Literally, you can't make this up. Dan Sherwin, who's her speechwriter, writes, thank you, Nevada. I want to congratulate Senator Sanders on a strong race here, but the Silver State just gave us the gold. Anyone have any other ideas? Now, I will say, in fairness to Hillary Clinton, and this is how politics works, most politicians don't write their own speeches. They don't. Bernie Sanders, I believe, wrote many of them, but he had speechwriters too. So, I'm not criticizing that Hillary Clinton doesn't write all her speeches, but these emails have shown this campaign was so scripted to the point of going, email chains a mile long about the wording for a tweet. And this shows they are so scripted that there needs to be this groupthink council on the first sentence to thank the citizens of Nevada. Thank you, Nevada. I want to congratulate Sanders on a strong race here, but the Silver State just gave us the gold. I mean, it's something. Moving on. And it's going to take me a little bit because I tweet a lot, so give me a second here. Oh, here's another one. Hillary Clinton campaign agonizes over a tweet. Because they don't want to appear that they are specifically endorsing the $15 minimum wage, but instead they just want to kind of endorse workers' rights in general. I'll read it to you here. A Hillary Clinton campaign staffer writes, I feel strongly that we came up with good language that doesn't use hashtag for 15, but supports workers' fight. Leave to Politico for final call, but I think this is good and we should do. So there you have it. The Clinton campaign essentially trying to straddle the line, not really have a core position at all, but make it seem like they're for workers' rights. By the way, you remember in the debate when she said, I've been for the fight for 15 all along. No, you weren't. Your actual website from the beginning said you were for a $12 minimum wage. But here, Clinton campaign want to tweet about fighting for workers. They don't want to actually endorse the Fight for 15, so they have to kind of finesse the language to let's not use the hashtag Fight for 15, but let's go for workers' rights. So shows you her political core very strong. Moving on. We find it here. And by the way, for those that have been asking me, I will be doing a Facebook Live after this on the Standing Rock situation. I've got plenty to say on that. So after this, give me a few minutes. I'm going to be going over to TYT Politics on Facebook. So another email was about Erica Garner. If you remember, Eric Garner was an African-American man. He was killed in New York on Staten Island. He was brought down by many, like a swarm of police around him in an illegal chokehold, and he died. And he kept saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Police were not indicted for this. Anybody with a brain who watched the video of this would have come to the conclusion police were the aggressors. But of course, American justice, they were not indicted. However, the ranchers who held up the Cliven Bundy ranch, they were indicted yesterday. So, American justice here. So I found in Hillary Clinton's campaign emails, they're talking about, I think she was writing an op-ed on gun violence. And they were going back and forth whether they should include Eric Garner, who was the African-American man who died. Some of the staffers say, well, technically he didn't die due to gun violence, so it would be not applicable to this story about gun violence. So a campaign ad says, hold on, let me get you the email here. Takes a while to find it. Okay, so I'll just read you from a story about this. The daughter of Eric Garner, the man who died as NYPD officers attempted to arrest him for allegedly selling loose cigarettes, lashed out at Hillary Clinton's campaign in a series of tweets on Thursday. Erica Garner's anger apparently stems from hacked emails revealed by WikiLeaks that show internal campaign discussions about her father's death. Garner first tweeted a link to leaked emails that appear to show internal discussions from the Clinton campaign about whether to mention her father's name in an op-ed piece that Clinton was writing for the New York Daily News. Quote, finally, I know we have Erica Garner issues, but we don't want to mention Eric at all. I could see her coming after us for leaving him out of the piece. Erica Garner then proceeded to attack the campaign on Twitter. So I'm trying to find the exact quote in the email. The leaked email shows Clinton campaign ad Maya Harris responded to Merrill's question and explained why Garner would not be included in the op-ed. Eric Garner not included because not killed by gun violence. Erica Garner somewhat seemed to appreciate Harris recognizing this point. However, she would take one more shot at Clinton campaign John Podesta before she was done. And then just a few hours ago, Garner promised not to let this issue just blow over. Nah, they're somewhere hoping it blows over. It may, I won't make it easy. So basically, if you don't know the history, Erica Garner ended up endorsing Bernie Sanders and did a advertisement for Bernie Sanders. Now, I don't know if this email was sent before or after that endorsement. But what I do know is Hillary Clinton's campaign knew that they had an issue with Erica Garner supporting Bernie Sanders or coming out saying negative things about Hillary Clinton. So they were essentially finessing, maybe exploiting, well, maybe we should use her because we have a problem with her. Not that they had a problem with her, but they had a problem because she was against them and, quote, she might come after us. I mean, have some courage, okay? Either include him in the piece or don't. But don't debate whether to include him or whether not to include him for political purposes. I mean, this is a man who was murdered by police. Again, watch the video. I only watched it 2 times. I couldn't watch it anymore because it's so disgusting and alarming. So that was one thing about Eric Garner. The Clinton campaign basically deliberating whether to use him in an op-ed or not for political gain and to basically hold off his daughter from going after him. There's another thing. On top of talking about the quote Erica Garner problem, Hillary Clinton's campaign chair implied that her dad's death might have not been police aggression. So let me show you the email here. John Podesta was responding to a donor. A donor emailed him. So let me tell you what the donor said. The donor's name is Herbert Sandler. I just saw the film. I do not agree with you. Facts. Guy stopped for selling loose cigarettes. Surrounded by at least 4 police officers. One officer seizes him in an illegal chokehold to take him down. Quote, parentheses, illegal under clearly known police department rules. I saw no threatening gestures by Garner which suggested the need to take him down. Even if the chokehold were not illegal, the actions by the 4 police officers were clearly excessive. By the way, there were more than 4 police officers there. Podesta responds, you and the rest of the world. I'll go back and look at the whole film rather than a 6-second clip. So you have Podesta essentially doubting what the whole rest of the world saw. By the way, Republicans, by and large, said this was illegal and aggressive behavior by the police. So this was like a bipartisan thing. There really wasn't many people that I know that said police were justified in this. And again, if you choose to, go watch the video. It's disturbing. I mean, guy keeps on saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And there's an illegal chokehold on him. And he died. He later died. So John Podesta, I read it as kind of condescendingly, says, you and the rest of the world, I'll go back and look at the whole film rather than a 6-second clip. Well, first of all, Matt Taibbi from Rolling Stone pointed this out on Twitter, I believe yesterday. There was no 6-second clip. The only thing available was the whole video. And frankly, even looking at a 6-second clip, you could tell that this was not justified police behavior. So I don't even know where he was coming from. But you combine them kind of playing politics with whether to mention Eric Garner in a piece or not to avoid his daughter coming after them, mixed in with the campaign chairman in writing basically saying, oh, you and the rest of the world, to a donor who just assume the police were the transgressors. It's kind of disturbing. Kind of makes you think that, in fairness, this is not Hillary Clinton saying this, it's her campaign chairman, but this guy could be chief of staff. He's on the short list, and he has immense influence with Hillary Clinton. So I thought that email was pretty interesting. Moving on. And I got to move up because I have a lot of tweets about the Standing Rock situation. So more I'd say, African-American dog whistling by the Hillary Clinton campaign. So John Podesta, in an email to Jennifer Palmieri, who's the communications director, and somebody else. He apparently doesn't know how to spell because a lot of this doesn't make sense. I'm just going to guess what the misspelled words were. Do we know? Oh, after Weaver does his hit with her, Jeff Weaver, Bernie Sanders campaign manager, she should do the he hasn't really been there for African Americans, but 1,000 points of television will convince them he has. Maybe get Finney on that one too. A lot of that email doesn't make sense to me. I don't know who he's talking about. She should do. I think he's talking about somebody that's going to go on television on behalf of the Hillary Clinton campaign. The subject line says SJL. I don't know who SJL is, but he's basically talking to the communications chairman. We should send somebody on TV to say Bernie Sanders, quote, hasn't really been there for African Americans, but 1,000 points of television will convince them he has. Maybe get Finney, Karen Finney, who's African American, on that one too. Yeah, he has. He just put his body on the line and got arrested during the civil rights movement. Hasn't been there for African Americans. Has spoken out on police brutality way before Hillary Clinton ever did. Hasn't been there for African Americans. So, again, when Hillary Clinton's campaign went on television and said Bernie Sanders' campaign is the most negative in Democratic primary history, I mean, all you got to do is read these emails. It's insane. And of course, John Lewis was the one who started going on TV saying, oh, I didn't see Bernie Sanders at Selma. I really didn't see Bernie Sanders during the civil rights movement, trying to, taint his record fighting for civil rights because John Lewis didn't see him. Well, I respect John Lewis and everything he did. He's an American hero, but that was bullshit then. So you're not part of the civil rights movement if John Lewis personally didn't march with you. It's laughable. So Hillary Clinton's campaign basically trying to dog whistle on Bernie Sanders and and African Americans. Moving on. God, there's so many emails. It's hard to even get through all of them. Keep going here. I went on a bit of a Twitter rampage yesterday, so it's gonna take a little time here. Okay. We have an email that I did this morning where essentially, let me make sure I'm reading it right. Yeah. So I told you before that John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, was continually during the Democratic primary communicating with Dennis McDonough, the White House chief of staff. So email dated June of last year. So Democratic primary. You got a minute to chat this AM. Dennis McDonough writes to John Podesta. You got a minute to chat this AM. John Podesta was Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman. Okay. I can't really think of a reason that John Podesta and Dennis McDonough, listen, if they see each other online at Starbucks, that's fine. You know, if they're around each other, that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying that it's scandalous for two people to talk, but I can't imagine why the chief of staff of the United States to Barack Obama is emailing, you got a minute to talk, with his phone number. This on top of emails that actually set up meetings because they didn't want to, phone is okay or meeting in person, but they didn't want to put things in writing. So don't tell me Barack Obama's administration didn't have its thumb on the scale this whole time to push Hillary Clinton to the finish line. This was June of 2015. Granted, well before Iowa, New Hampshire, all of that, but I mean the Democratic primary was going on. Bernie Sanders was a candidate. So I can't think of any legitimate reason that the two should be talking or coordinating or meeting in person. And I don't think they were talking about golf. Let's put it that way. Another email. Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, John Podesta, was also receiving adoring emails from the top lobbyists in the United States. He got an email from Bruce Melman, who the Washingtonian magazine called one of the top lobbyists in America. Thank you for your service, John. The 6th year in every administration is a chore, with massive doses of underappreciation from friends, foes, and the media. Even though you knew more than most what you were getting into, I suspect at times you wonder why you put in the 18 hours a day, 6.5 days a week, given the less stressful, more lucrative alternatives. But as you know, it matters a lot. Your service is certainly of great benefit for the nation. And ideally, it's personally rewarding for you as well. John Podesta's response to this adoring email. Thanks, Bruce. I really appreciate that. Now, is there any pay for play? No. But I think it's important to show you this is how the government runs. Lobbyists kiss the asses of the politicians and the advisors, and then they get in the room with said advisors and politicians. I mean, is he a bad person for receiving adoring emails from lobbyists? No. But you know what? He's not a friend of the worker. I don't know many people, I don't know many advisors for Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren who are having lunch with lobbyists. I don't. And if you do, send it my way. So, moving on. And while I have the audience here, again, if you want more of this, we got plenty of this over at youtube.com/TYTpolitics. We're headed to 100,000 subscribers. I think we just hit 99,000 or are very close. So if you want to be part of the 100,000 subscriber club, get on it. Tell your friends to get on it. I don't care if your dog clicks the subscribe button. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Moving on. We have an email where Hillary Clinton's best friend forever, Neera Tanden, again, president of the Center for American Progress, Subject line, Flint, Michigan. Maybe she should go there and be with the families. This Flint situation is outrageous. Would show she's a fighter. Maybe that would break through. And easier than sleeping overnight at someone's house. Michigan is not that far from Iowa. January of 2016, Flint was a big news story. This was before the Michigan primary. Neera Tanden, who is an outside advisor to the Clinton campaign, is shown throughout the emails to be talking directly with John Podesta, giving advice, cursing people off. Would show she's a fighter. Maybe that would break through. Yeah, don't worry about the people that are poisoned. Don't worry about helping the victims. Go there and show everyone she's a fighter, Hillary. Go there and show everyone you're the fighter. And maybe that'll help her break through. I mean, listen, a lot of people think I don't like Hillary Clinton, that I'm biased, whatever. That's fine. I've made it clear what I think. I don't support her personally, but I try to be fair. But I mean, what these emails show is even the most horrific tragedies they try to exploit. And I'd be saying this if I found these emails in Bernie Sanders' emails or his campaign was hacked. I'd say the same thing. I don't hate Hillary Clinton, but I hate what this represents. And I hate the people around her and what it says about them and our leadership. Because sometimes you just go do things because it's the right thing to do. And you're supposed to represent people, not because there's an electoral benefit to it. You know, I'll give credit where credit's due. John McCain in 2008. Some crazy woman, said something very Islamophobic to him on the campaign trail right before the election. And instead of ducking, like Trump did several months ago when somebody said something Islamophobic to him about Obama, John McCain corrected her and said, no, ma'am. Barack Obama and I, he's a good man. We just happen to disagree, but he's a good man and he's a good American. That's called political courage, okay? I don't agree with John McCain politically, but he deserves credit in that moment. And anybody, if Hillary Clinton did that, I'd give her credit. So it's not that I hate Hillary Clinton, but the people around her and her campaign, it's very clear that they exploit tragedies, exploit Eric Garner, which I just said a couple tweets ago, emails ago. They exploit bad things for political gain, and that's a problem. And that shouldn't be just politics as usual. And if you're okay with that, then again, you're part of the problem.